Hi, my name is Sameer Khedekar, founder and managing attorney at Banyan Law, the immigration law firm for the high-tech field. So today we're going to clear up yet another misconception that founders cannot get H-1Bs. But before we do, let's talk quickly about what an H-1B is. The H-1B is the most common work visa in the US. You either get it through a lottery, or if you already have an H-1B, you can transfer it to another company. The requirements for the H-1B are very simple. The job that you perform must be complex enough to require a bachelor's degree. And number two, you must have the equivalent of a bachelor's degree. And that's essentially it. However, there is a adjacent kind of requirement or expectation the government has that there be an employer-employee relationship between the entity that petitions for the H-1B and the person who is working in H-1B status. And that's really what is the big hang-up in the startup context. So the government has also realized, though, that because there are no real viable solutions for startups visa-wise here in the US, they've given instructions on what they expect to see in the H-1B context for founders. And here they are. All you basically have to do as a founder is show that if you have, let's say you have co-founders, your co-founders can outvote you, or they have more shares than you. The existence of that factor right there basically shows that they have an employer relationship to your employee status. If you can just show that in the paperwork you submit in the H-1B, you're set. If you can't show that, put together a board of directors and provide paperwork, maybe in your bylaws, to show that the board can outvote you if and when necessary. If you're able to show that, then there is the employer-employee relationship. And it's pretty much as simple as that. And the government does not expect to see anything more than that, really. And we've gotten tons of startup and founder H-1Bs approved just using that model. So that's it. That's all you really have to do. There are a couple of things you have to keep in mind as a startup founder with the H-1B. Number one, if you don't have an H-1B, you have to go through the lottery. There are a couple of workarounds to that, and we can talk about that in another video. But it's very difficult to get in the lottery, as you can imagine. And so keep that in mind. Number two, if you're in an H-1B, you have to be paid a salary on payroll as a full-time employee. So you can't be a contractor. You actually can be a part-time employee too, but you have to be paid a salary on payroll that's equal to or higher than the minimum or prevailing or actual wage paid for that kind of job in that location. So in our next video, we'll talk about other options for entrepreneurs that are not the H-1B, and there are a few, and we'll also talk about workarounds for the H-1B lottery.